Mind Live 196. We're a little early this evening because we've got lots to get through. I will be doing about 2 hours this evening, I think, but it may be longer, maybe shorter. Who knows? But we will give it a go tonight. I do hope that you are in a place where you can remain cool under pressure and everything is going well for you this weekend. I think it's been a weekend of barbecues. I've been away for the weekend with the new Mrs. Allen, and we've been to see friends, and lots of barbecuing, lots of jollity, and bizarrely zero alcohol. Well, you can get these new fangled drinky things. Seemingly, gin doesn't have any alcohol in it. I said, that is the work of the devil. And they said, no, it tastes quite nice, Adrian. Why don't you try some? You're the designated driver. Why don't you have some? So I had some, and it tastes like alcoholic gin to me. So whether that's, when you go on these holidays that are all inclusive, what they'll do is they'll give you a very nice gin, whatever that gin may be, and then they'll give you sort of 3 or 4 until your palate gets used to the gin taste, and then they'll bring out some shit and give you that, and the palate can't taste any different. Just saying. So not that I was drinking shite, you understand, over this weekend, but seemingly at least for another fortnight before we get into I say, what's going on there? Oh, right, okay. Before we get into August, it's going to be very nice. There's some rain coming, but very nice, which means that the weeds will grow exponentially because they're either getting a shit ton of water and they're getting the heat from the sun, so as we should. But we'll talk about water and stuff in just a little while, but I wanted to get to some parish notes because you have been commenting before I got anywhere near on air, which is wonderful. But it is, I don't know about you, I know the Australians call us the whinging Poms because we literally will bellyache about anything. But even though it is a tad warm, the cold showers during the evening are making a hell of a difference. So I just get up during the middle of the night every few hours, put it on as cold as I can stand, and then just stand in a cold shower until I start freezing me nads off, and then go back to bed. It's that simple. Les Griffith says, good evening, Reverend. The convicted stalker's lamenting his views have dropped by up to 90%, blaming dark forces, shadow banning and vindictive people. Wow, more likely he's now seen for what he is. A grifter, says Les Griffiths. Thank you, Les. Welcome to the body of the Kirk, as ever. Cuban Pete, not my king. Yeah, we're going to get to him, the Charles a week tonight. Because it's, well, just wait. We'll get there. Because it's, I only think that the royals have like one playbook, and it's the 2 or 3 different stories. Oh, the king's got cancer. Princess of Wales, Wimbledon, and she had precancerous cells. Didn't have cancer. Precancerous cells, did not have cancer. And then it's the Harry and Meghan dilemma. Same shit, different day. So we'll talk about Charles the week tonight. Les Griffith says, very pointed Les to Cuban Pete. Central casting. Yes, quite. Is he still alive? Paulie Galtieri says, good evening, Adrian. You utter wrong. Hope you've had a good weekend. It's been a very, 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 very nice food and non-alcoholic drink. And tonic water, seemingly. So I did think about, if you can have, it was Tanqueray Zero, I thought, whatever it's called, gin Zero, with no gin in it, but it tastes like gin. So do you need tonic water in gin without any alcohol? Or is it just kind of like a chaser or a shot? Is that what that is? Because if it's got no alcohol in it, what's the point of drinking it? I was driving, though, to be fair. I would like to say thank you to Nick and Dan for allowing us there, putting us up for the weekend. Myself and the new Mrs. Allen. Just a fantastic weekend. Loads of dogs, because I love a dog. But at the moment we don't, as you will hear, we might have next door's pet yapping its bloody head off, but we don't have any dogs of our own, and I've had the most wonderful weekend just running about playing with 3 dogs. Fantastic. And maybe they thought, well, here's another mug that can play with us, and we'll take the mickey out of him. And they did. They did. So, Paulie Galtieri. Les, maybe it's because his end of the pier childish toilet humour isn't funny. About as funny as pals, Paulie. Les says, to those of us with a functioning brain, realise that, but many of his idolisers don't. Many of them are as broken as him, desperately trying to find someone to believe in. Quite sad, says Les. Thank you, Les. Napoleon Bonaparte, I'm curious to know how much the British public care about anything that the royal family does, because from what I can see in social media, they're bigger in the US than in Europe. Well, remember, was it 1876? Yeah, no, 1776. And they decided that, the king can foxtrot Oscar. Off you go, mate, because we're not paying you any more taxes. And the king was like, what? Oh, can I still own lots of American land? Yes, your majesty, but you're just not getting our taxes. And if you kick off, we'll chuck our tea into the harbour. So, not sure Napoleon blown apart. I think there was an attempt by certain members of the ex-royal family to actually create a court of show business in America, and everybody was going to love them. Oh, hello, Harry and who? The Who. So, America didn't quite take to them. In fact, they consider Oprah more royalty than those two. And, look at what Oprah's been involved in. Shan't go any further. So, Napoleon blown apart, thank you for that. And thank you for your comments from across the water. Oh, I'm sorry, Rev. Good evening to you and yours, dear Mrs. Blown Apart, and I hope you're still getting better. On the mend, eating Battenberg like it's going out of fashion. I hear Battenberg works wonders if taken 3 times a day after meals. Depends where you shove it. Napoleon blown apart. Rich says, evening everyone, the church goers are getting restless. I know, it's warm, beer garden is open. If you want cocktails or mocktails or zero alcohol, because you know what it's like when everybody's had a bit too much, it'll all kick off in the beer garden and then it'll just spill into the body of the kirk, and we can't have that. Just be gentle and respectful to those other parishioners in the body of the kirk this evening, because it's bloody warm. And, you can bring your piles rings in, because those pews are a little, I do readily admit, a little hard. But there's nothing better at my time of life. The altar wine is there if you want a little altar wine, if it's just a little bit too warm for you. But I do suggest that Sister Mary is opening for tea and coffees for those that are off their heads in this heat. And cold drinks shall be, I have to tell you, the new Mrs. Allen and I left the body of the kirk and went to the coast. And we found this rather lovely establishment that did food and everything. And we couldn't get a seat anywhere near the establishment and the counter that you went to. And I said to the new Mrs. Allen, oh, don't worry, darling, I'll go and find some seats. So I went and thought, bugger me, the seats here, oh, we'll have some of them. So anyway, sits down, bags the seat, one of those beer garden benches, one of them. And we sat down and had our little drinky poos and a bite to eat. And then some gremlin comes along and goes, ugh, you can't have that here. And we looked at her and said, what do you mean? And in such circumstances, I allow the new Mrs. Allen to take charge and control. She's infinitely worse than me. And she just says to the lady, well, what do you mean? And the lady says, well, you bought that from there. And we go, yeah, right. She said, so you haven't bought it from there? And we go, no, you don't. It was busy. And so the new Mrs. Allen said, do you serve food? Thinking, well, we'll buy some food from her, do the decent thing. She went, no. So you don't sell any food? No. Can I buy a cup of coffee or something then? Just, while we're sitting here. Don't serve tea or coffee. Bloody hell, man. What do you sell? Cold drinks. Yeah. Alcohol, cold drinks. So we just went, oh, right, okay. Off you go. So we had some Karen appear. And And it was like, oh, yeah, mate, Foxtrot Oscar. We just, it's sunny. Everybody's a bit, I did see a bit of violence over the weekend. And you just laugh now because people are like, honestly. There's Mo Farah, Mo Farah. He said, oh, I've had enough of the violence in this country. He said, I've no idea why I came here in the first place. We're off to Qatar. It's much more peaceful there. Oh, so he bags all his money, his multi-millions, by being British. And then once he's made his money, doesn't want to stay here because he doesn't like it here. He's bugging off to Qatar. What a bloke that is. What a two-faced oik, in my view. Thank you, Rich. Yeah, I know the churchgoers are getting restless. It needs cold drinks, cold and ice. Cold drinks. Stuart says, evening, Rev. I'd like to thank Sister Mary for putting the air conditioning on. If she hadn't, I would have took your desk fan because it's Betty Swallows. You can say that again, young Stuart. I do have the fan on. Technical term. I do have the fan on. I have the hibiscus because they do. I'm testing it tonight. They do say having a warm drink in warm weather cools you down quicker. How do we end shite? Ice cream. Only thing. Lauren Taylor says, evening, everyone. Reverend, I'd like your views on Aruj Shah, the leader of Oldham Council, and her relationship with a convicted drug dealer and getaway driver for the cop killer Dale Cregan. I'm aghast. I would imagine that, how can I put this? Leader of Oldham Council is a position of responsibility and has to be seen to be squeaky clean. Now, you can't really choose who you fall in love with, but getaway driver, suppose it might help in rush hour traffic, but it's a real moral dilemma, because if they've not committed any travesty of justice, or they're doing anything illegal, then obviously that's a political crisis. But if they're not doing anything, just, dancing, then, Lauren, I think eventually she'll probably have to step down. And that's the only thing to do. What would be, in your view, you get to the comments and put your comments. Aru Shah, the leader of Oldham Council, and her relationship with a convicted drug dealer and getaway driver for the cop killer Dale Cregan. Is that what you want from our leaders? I'd love to hear your thoughts. Thank you, Lauren. Thank you for the question. Phil Levan says, evening, folks. Evening, Adrian. Evening, Phil Levan. Yeah, wrong. Cuban Pete says, oh, Lauren Taylor probably end up with some commendation from the king. Quite Cuban Pete. An MBE, no doubt. Or OBE. Or bend over the bins EE. Rich says, I've not seen that in the news, Lauren Taylor. I'll take a look. Good on you, Rich. See what you find. He is called Muhammad Imran Ali, a.k.a. Irish. Trying to work out what that word is, Lauren. IMY. I'm struggling to believe it. Kerry Hawkins, good evening, everyone. Good evening, Kerry. Welcome to the Body of the Kirk. We're early tonight, so we're getting the parish notes out of the way, and then we'll get into stuff. I'll tell you what's going to be in the sermon this evening. Oh, interesting. Yeah, Rich. Nothing surprises me these days, Lauren. She probably wouldn't pass a DBS check these days, but can be leader of a council and have no shame. They don't, really, do they? L says, as in Leeds. Evening, Adrian. I saw Oasis last night in Manchester. It was absolutely epic. Best gig ever. We'll be asking the question, best gig ever, because you know what today is, don't you? 40 years. Live Aid. And I've got my take on that. To be fair, hang on, Rich says, I watched it on YouTube. That'll do for me. What, the Oasis gig? The epic Oasis gig. I mean, how far into the tour? They do North America, don't they? And they're making about 60 million each. Oof, better than kicking the nuts. Martine, hello everyone. Hope you're all okay today. Welcome, Martine. Welcome to the Body of the Kirk. Budge up, everybody. Let Martine in. A regular, so, we should allow her near the front of the pews where she can hear the sermon. Hi, Martine, says Rich. Welcome to the Body of the Kirk. Bibles are on the table by the font Ignore Tab Block Tracy. She's hungover again. Well, I never. Isn't that a constant state for Tab Block Tracy? Right. Yeah, we'll get to the bottom of this, so to speak, if you know what I mean. Lauren Taylor says, yeah, look into it. It's unbelievable or unbelievable. So we're talking. We're going to talk about Live Aid. We're going to talk about front page of the Current Bun, the Sunday Current Bun. I'm looking down there because I chucked it out thinking there's shite in there today. Another BBC sex attack arrest on the set of EastEnders. You can't make it up, and the scriptwriters didn't. We're going to talk about the Royals. Same shit, different day. We're going to talk about London. The UK's first 15-minute city by stealth by 2050. It's coming, you know. A bit like Christmas and Father Christmas. Dougie, the convicted stalker. Yeah, I'm going to give you some insight and understanding. We're going to talk about the Snivell servants, the new grifters. There's a new wages ruling for them, bless them. Jeffrey Epstein, the rematch tomorrow in the courts in the US. Tell you more about that. ID cards, as in digital ID cards. I've told you before many times. It's a solution to a problem you never knew you had. But the ID cards are coming. Not for you, obvs. It's by stealth. But I'm going to tell you what it's going to do. And Labour backstabbing. Oh, the backstabbing epidemic grows. And you know Rachel Reeves, the one that was crying at PMQs a week ago. Wonder why she was crying. I'm going to tell you. They're all at each other's throats. They're even stabbing everybody in the front, let alone the back. And I do believe that Rachel, from accounts, has had her time politically. So she's gone, done, finished. Because, Starmer don't muck about. He's happily going to, metaphorically, politically knife anybody he gets the chance to. Because he's staying top dog. He don't care who you are or what you do. He's top dog. So foxtrot us, get everybody else. Evening, Adrian. All I can ask as an innocent choir boy, what Battenberg is. Are you ready, Ian? Well, it's from an ex-BBC presenter who used to arrange sex parties in Newcastle near the airport. And he was arranging a scat party. I can say that. You can't in the comments, whatever you do. Don't. It's not suitable for the body of the Kirk, but I can see it because we're not monetising this. So he arranged a scat party. And he was using BBC computers to email people and arrange the scat party, and he was charging a fair amount of money. So he hired Europe's #1 scat queen from Europe, and this guy says, "Oh, I've got problems, and I've got a condition, and I've got a tap on my tummy, which kind of I just turn the tap and out it comes. Would you mind if I did that on her?" And I am desperately not trying to mention his name because it is funny. I just took it off my tongue. Apologies. He wasn't done for it or anything. So they had the party, and the guy with the thing said, "Can I?" And seemingly in the email, the organizer of the party said, "Oh, don't worry. She's #1 in Europe. Yeah, she'll do anything. Her and she's emailed me and told me she's going to eat Battenberg the day before because evidently it makes it more fragrant." And if you want to know what scat is, it's do you know there was a song by the Scat Man, #1 in the UK, and I was like, how did they get away with that, calling somebody the Scat Man? People walking around going, "I'm the Scat Man," and you think, what, don't you know what that is? This is before the days of Google, of course. So there's Cuban Pete. "I'm a scat man." Yeah, well, so was this party, and so was the now ex-BBC presenter, but the European #1 scat queen came across and ate Battenberg the day before. So when she was dropping the kids off at the pool, it evidently made it smell fragrant. There's absolutely bloody no chance of that. Phil the Van, was it Ant or Deck? It was neither. No matter how many times you tell the Battenberg story, it's still as funny as fuck. It's true, that's why. I mean, if only I could read you the emails. Because the ex-BBC presenter left his computer open and went home. This was a couple of days before. So somebody, one of the journos, went into the computer to to kind of log in, and went into this profile that, well, she had to sit down with some smelling smelling salts, and it was boss, you need to come here and have a look at this. And so everybody gathered round and had a look. Oh, I say, what's he organising? Oh, bugger, Scat party in which hotel in the Metro Centre? Oh, I say, the mucky tart. Noddy Holder told a story about when Slade used to play the clubs in Hamburg, and he would earn extra money by shitting all over a glass table while someone laid beneath it. Oh, that's many an apocryphal tale. Many. It's the Battenberg that was the doer, was the pièce de résistance, if she was French, maybe. But yeah, Scattenberg. Oi. That hurt. I bought an alcohol-free rum in January. It's okay, but no replacement. I get it. This gin was, it tastes like it, but you do like to have a bit of it loosens things up. Do you not agree? But I don't. Can you have it as shots? I mean, it's not going to do anything really, is it? I mean, you could drink the whole bloody bottle in one go, and it's not going to do anything except make you pee loads. No, we're not going back to the Scat party before you start. That's golden showers. Johnny Mathis loved the see-through table. So I've heard, Nicky. So I've heard. I mean, who would have thought Johnny Mathis coming out? Because everybody thought, well, it might be hetero, because, he did that Denise Williams thing, and it was, and everybody thought he was, heterosexual, and then he came out at some point, for whatever reason, I've no idea. Hang on, who's Tom? Tom Harney's. See you. Just follow your... Just follow your nose. Yeah, it smells of Battenberg, seemingly. I mean, imagine, because it's German, isn't it? The originators of the Battenberg cake. And next Sunday is going to be the 200th live. So there might be a free Battenberg or 2 or 3 in my household anyway. The new Mrs. Allen won't allow me because my blood sugars are, well, Mr. Allen, you're going to have a heart attack or a stroke. I said, I prefer a stroke, really. Do it slowly. At my age, it's preferable. No, they didn't like that gag. Yeah, we might have a Battenberg next Sunday. I can't mail it out here because, mailing... who's I going to send a Battenberg to? I was going to send it to one of the... was I going to send it to Richie's son, Rich Boy Sunak? I just thought, it's going to be squashed. It'll be all kind of in bits and pieces. It'll look a right state, as in something that somebody ejected or expelled, I think is the technical term. Hang on. Did Johnny Mathis do Little Donkey? That is fun, Des. That is fun. Can't take it any further. You can say that, but I can't possibly comment. Might have been Big Donkey. Donkey Kong, if he's on the PlayStation. I see you. Paulie, his ratings are going down. Somebody said that he's boo-hooing at stuff. I wonder why. He's just a bit of disappointment, that boy. I mean, his ego must be running rampant. But I will get to Dougie, the convicted stalker, in just a little while, because he leaks information. And it's wonderful, because he thinks that by telling people, I'm Mappa level 3, that's going to make him, what? Is it like, I'm the bastion of free speech? How do we end shite, man? I get away with more on here than your bastion of free speech. You wouldn't know what free speech is if he stood up and bit his bollocks off. Because, well, hang on a second. There's a new bandwagon coming. I'll jump on that one. I mean, Lucy Connolly, I think, just a bit of disappointment. But I am going to tell you about Mappa level 3. He's not going to be happy. Hang on a second. What's that? I say, Terry. Wasn't aware of that. He has a lot to worry about, mate. This is to Paulie Galtieri. More defamation cases. I am aware of one. Tax audit and a potential fraud prosecution. I say. Maybe that's why he's saying that the probation service are happy with him. Really? Because when I get to Mappa level 3, not sure they are. because there's a reason why he's Mappa level 3, and I will explain it, because I'm also going to lift the veil, because I'm getting increasingly pissed off with him. As I say, he's just a disappointment. He's just an irrelevance. He pisses me off massively. I am going to explain why and how, and then I'll give you the context of Mappa level 3, because he's at high risk of re-offence. That's Mappa level 3. I don't know. I'm pointing at my screen because I can see it. You can't. So thank you for that, Terry Wookfit. Les Griffith says to Paulie, what's your Saturday vid? Dark Forces. They're not Dark Forces. They're not. He's not Tommy Robinson, and Katie has not come out and said anything since he was released. Not one single video. Why is that? People are telling me. I'm not going to spend my time. I'm away having fun with my friends. Why would I bother my arse about him? Lauren Taylor says, this is getting a little shitty. No, it's a big shitty, Lauren, honestly, and it smells different. Stop it. I have a weak stomach. Okay, Lauren, no more. Cell Rebel says, like that fella Fredo took Michael to see. I see you, says Terry. I wonder who tipped off the tax man. Same bloke that says I'm the scat man. I might have been. I'm the tax man. But I would have imagined that he's, from what people have told me, he was straight up and down with his taxes. I think it might be somebody's looking at and I've defined fraud in previous videos, so you can go and look at that. But maybe it's money donated and wasn't used for its intended use, or something like that. I might have to have a look at the definition again myself. But if somebody's gone down that route and realised that he's doing whatever, then maybe that's why it's all getting. But somebody says Dark Forces. And so I had an email from someone just a little earlier who said that he was a little contritious and wasn't really his usual self, if that makes any sense. It doesn't to me, because I haven't seen whatever video they were talking about. And he's contritious and saying Dark Forces, but it's really easy to say Dark Forces. Why? Just identify who these Dark Forces are, because my instinct's telling me if it's the government, well, he's shafted, he's done, he's finished. So if it's the government, I wouldn't be taking the government on. And it's really easy here to kind of do and be a gobshite and go yeah, all that. I mean, I've told you before how can you tell when a politician's lying? Their lips move. And look, if the government are on his case, then I'm sorry for him, but he's brought it on himself. This is from speaking to somebody who is infinitely more training and insight into human beings. Won't say any names or give anything away, but they said to me, and I quote, "This is a massive self-harm." So if he keeps going on about, they want me back inside and they want this and they want that and they want the other, I won't even say some of the stuff that I've been told he's saying, because that would be completely disingenuous. And I only speak facts, my lived behaviour, my lived experience, and facts. So I can tell you about Mappa level 3. It's going to make your hair curl. It will make your hair curl, because he's not saying this at all. He's saying he's a 0.1% threat to others, and yet the multi-agency public protection is level 3, which is the highest level. They're really worried that he's going to re-offend and harm people. That's what Mappa is. It's multi-agency. So I'll tell you about that in a second. Terry Wookfit says he bought subs. YouTube clears non-participating subs periodically. That is oh, hang on, where's it gone? Dear Lord, Adrian. Come on. Oh, for fuck's sake. Terry Wookford says, maybe it was all the money donated via the Lamley. He kindly wrote the amount that came with the cards and gleefully showed us all how much he was getting. Really? I wasn't watching his videos at that point because I knew him. Dark Forces and the BBC is Alex search history on. Really poorly. As I say, we've got lots of things to talk about. I will talk about Dougie more in just a second. I wanted to do it about 8:30. But I just wanted to bring something to your attention. Are you watching how much backstabbing is going on in the Labour Party? This backstabbing epidemic is growing exponentially. They're all at it. But this weekend in Durham city centre, there's been Durham Big Meat. Now, if you're not from the Northeast, you might not know exactly what that is, but it's the beating heart of the Labour movement. The beating heart. The shipyards, the mines, the steelworks, the beating heart. And every Durham Big Meat, they would parade through its old Elvet, isn't it? From the top all the way down to kind of the bridge and the centre of Durham City and along the riverbank. And then there's the balcony of the county hotel where the real big wigs of the Labour movement, the left-wing Labour movement, it would be Jeremy Corbyn this time. Excuse me. Oh, I say. Back, mate, well, excuse me. God, I was talking about something that's really important as well. Wow. So, where was I? Yeah, I was sitting in my seat looking at you. You're wrong. So, Durham Big Meat. They parade. Did I swallow something? You didn't see a wasp or a fly or something go down my throat, did you? I swallowed a fly. I don't know why. You know what I'm talking about. So, so Durham Big Meat, every Big Meat, it's been going on for decades and decades and decades. The beginning of the Labour movement, and all the bigwigs stand on the balcony of the county hotel, which is in Old Elvet, just before they get to the bridge at the bottom. And as I say, it's the beating heart of the Labour movement. That march down Elvet, Old Elvet, it's packed. It's one of the best parts of Durham Big Meat. They parade all of the mining flags and all of the Labour movement flags. It's just brilliant. But this time, although there was a ton of people there, but there was nobody that I could recognise on the balcony of the county hotel, which is where they parade the flags past. So is it that the Labour government and the Labour movement is no more? It's a dead as a dodo. This parrot is deceased. So that'll be why Jeremy Corbyn, and I will guarantee you this, it doesn't take Einstein to work this out. Excuse me a second. Oh no, in my different. Oh, okay. Didn't prepare effectively, did I? No, I didn't. So I've said this before on a different live that Jeremy Corbyn, when he was leader of the Labour Party had 600,000 members. Oh dear. Exactly, Terry. Failing to prepare is preparing to fail. I just didn't have my my usual coughing implements. Can we rule out Rayner becoming PM? Sam, yeah, going to talk about it because she's being shafted by the unions. Metaphorically, of course. Ginger Growler, no, she's definitely not going to PM. Rachel Reeves, definitely. There might be a bit of a shuffle coming in the Labour front bench, so she's gone, finished. Hang on a second. Let me just. We're having 3 conversations. Lots of unions have lost faith in Labour. I agree, Mr. Wookfit, Lord Wookfit. Tab Block Tracy. Got a phone number. Yeah. I did post it on Adrian's live. What's that, Mark? Rich says 350,000 subs, yet only 35,000 views. I can never work that out. I mean, I don't. Sometimes I'll kind of every now and again look at the trend of the data on this channel itself. But I don't live and by my stats. I just live and by the information that I bring to you on these lives. That's why I don't monetize them, so I can bring you stuff that ordinarily wouldn't get out. So if, according to Dougie, he had £1 million YouTube empire, why does he need to charge people for his website? Why doesn't he just do it for now, like I do here? Why doesn't he just do it for now? He's made over £1 million, according to him, in his shit autobiography. And I say that because it's his own worst enema. So if it's an enema, it must be shit. Yeah, I haven't died yet, Stuart. Beata, Mark Bryden, which video is this? An English bottle cap? It might be a piano. Random English bottle cap. Right, let's get the bottom of this. Alan Blindfold, Mark Bryden, that wasn't James Newton, Tech Whiz, and in a hetero relationship. That was Dougie about being LBGTQ+. Yeah, well, it came out at the trial. So let's get into this. I'm sick and tired of him and what he does. Now, maybe he thinks he's being clever, and maybe he thinks that he can do it to wind me up. No, because all I need to do is I just need to come on these lives and tell you the background to stuff. So there are, I think in business, it would be called passing off. Now, I don't blow me on trumpet because I would need 3 vertebrae removed to be able to do that. And I just kind of get on with stuff. But I've been very, very, very successful in my radio career. I would pitch up it was in Derbyshire, and we had some fireworks switch on that I kind of headed up, and I went on stage and there was 250,000 people there who screamed my name, bless them. And I've had hundreds of thousands listen to my radio shows. I was #1 in South Wales, #1 in the North East, #1 in the East Midlands, and that really obviously sticks in his throat. Because he's never going to be a successful phone-in presenter, because he never has been, by any metric that I would agree with. He's not. There's not a new idea in his head, but I am going to get to that. There's no original ideas in his head. He nicks stuff. And look, I can identify where it comes from. So somebody was going on about him, talking about, I'm hung like a gnat, or whatever he used. That's a Howard Sternism. That's what Howard Stern did in New York. Howard Stern is a much more able broadcaster and successful broadcaster and speech broadcaster. He's a multi-millionaire. But Dougie thieves things from other people. 1-2 buckle my shoe is a very good Scotty McClueism. He uses it with impunity. When he talks about fart heads, and that's all Scotty. So I despair that he's nicking other people's acts, left, right, and centre. And when it comes to mine, I'm going to explain to you that I've seen him use 4 different things. I'm going to explain to you how they were originated, where they were originated, which phone-in I originated it on, and that phone-in is 46 years old. Hang on a second. 90, 30, 35. No, apologies, 36. My maths is a bit out. 1989 TFM. And how I did that phone-in, and I am going to get to what he leaked, and I'm going to give you context. After I finish this little segment, I'm going to give you the Mappa Level 3 explanation and context. So in 1989, James Stanage had come from Piccadilly, where he was renowned. I've said to you before, the originator, the king, James Whale, took parts of what James Stanage did, because his producer, Brian Lister, said, yeah, have a listen to this, be more like this. Because everybody was learning in the 70s and the early 80s, doing phone-ins. Because nobody knew what the game was and what they could do. Terry Wookford says, of course he nicks other people's acts off of his spiel as Ken Dodd jokes. I know, and Doddy's not alive now. So The late night phone-in presenter in this country has been for the last 40 odd years Cavalier. Very special people do late night phone-ins, and the successful ones are hugely talented, and they have their own way of doing things. And yet Dougie decides that, so we work together at Century 106. And do you know why until this channel you wouldn't find any archive of my radio presenting anywhere on the net? Why? Because he would have stolen it and he would have reproduced it somewhere. And I didn't know what to do with my my archive, and it is extensive, because he would just nick it. As I say, he came over to my oh, hang on a second. Have we got sound problems? Stuart says, he said in the edited video, edited phone-in video, I'm sitting down but giving you a standing ovation. I've heard that before but can't remember where it is. It's a Bob Monkhouse line. It's Bob Monkhouse. And it's in Bob Monkhouse's autobiography. If you want to go and find the line, read it. It's a wonderful read. I have read it. That's how I know it's Bob Monkhouse's. It's not his. He's never, in my experience, been able to come up with any new ideas. He nicks them. Howard Stern or Bob Monkhouse or Scotty McClue or me or anybody else. But now this is 2025, where people like me can say, oh, that's from so-and-so, and that's from so-and-so. I've been contacted by experts in varying different comedians' fields and says, yeah, that's a Bob Monkhouse line. That's this, that's this, that's this. And it's, I mean, Anyway, so I'm going to explain to you where some of my lines came from. So James Stanage came across to TFM as it was and did the late night phone-in. And I just sat in awe because James Stanage, for me, was the originator. I know there was some of the guys in London who were doing bits and pieces, but Stanage was just right out there. I mean, it was romanticism and cavalier. And when I was ill recently, he actually posted on my Facebook, "You all right, big lad?" So I will have to get in touch with him. But because Dougie has never heard Stanage, he's never nicked any of Stanage's lines. He hasn't. Okay, thank you, Ian. I hope you enjoyed the explanation of the Battenberg a little earlier. So if he's not listened regularly to someone, and he sat through the glass every day, whether it's late night and sometimes lunchtime, he would be listening to everything that I did. So in 1989, my then program director, Brian Lister, who's a wonderful man and one of the best systems men in commercial radio ever, in the history of commercial radio, just a wonderful man. And it helped me progress my career massively. So Stanage came in and was doing all this, and I couldn't believe that he was getting away with it, and the figures went through the roof. He was just fantastic. And I've listened to Alan Robson on Metro and James Whale on Metro. So again, I was getting the real source elements from some wonderfully talented men who were the phone-in presenters. So Stanage left for whatever reason, and I went to the boss, I went to Brian, and I said, can I have a go at that, doing the phone-in? And Brian says, are you sure? I said, oh, it sounds fantastic, Brian. I'd love to be able to do that. I mean, I don't know what I'm doing, so I don't know how we would do this. And Brian said, all right, then leave it with me. You just do, I think I was doing early breakfasts at that point. And he said, leave it with me. So anyway, a few weeks later, he says, are you sure you want to do the phone-in? I said, well, I'd like to have a go at it. This is 1989, remember, where you couldn't say boo to a goose. Stanage was so far left field and out there, and it was wonderful listening, that I couldn't really tackle that or do that. But he inspired me. James Stanage inspired me. I didn't nick any of his lines or any of his presentation skills or tools or anything, but he inspired me to focus on my craft. So in the beginning, I was focusing on being a music presenter, doing my soul shows, playing music, playing top 40 radio. That was what I was concentrating on. And at the time that Brian said, let's do a phone in. We'll give you one Sunday night. Let's just see how it goes. I listened to Robson differently. I listened to all the phone-ins that I could, just to try and work everything out. So for over 36 years, I've been honing my craft constantly. Lunchtime phone-ins, nighttime phone-ins, been number one in every marketplace that I've been in. That's my background. I can do music presentation. That's like falling off a log comparatively to speech. I've done LBC for years, BBC, but BBC didn't quite like my styling. But so I did the phone-in, and it was a full switchboard. Now that's the test. The test of any phone-in presenter is how many first-time callers you get, because you're invigorating the audience, and the audience love you so much that they'll pick the phone up and go, "Can I speak to Adrian? Can I speak to Adrian?" So it's the amount of first-time callers and full switchboards. And literally every night I went on air, my switchboard was ringing off the hook, and it was, "Hello, Adrian, I'm first-time caller." So we did some kind of stuff around popping people's cherries. That's where that comes from. But it's wonderful if you're getting first timers. That's the level of an improving and increasingly listened to phone-in. So I came up with some stuff on the phone-in on TFM in 1989. One of them was the word Rolex. Because you couldn't swear. You couldn't say golf. You couldn't say Foxtrot Oscar or anything on commercial radio, because you literally would be dragged off air and sacked on the spot. Because there were certain rules from the radio authority that you couldn't transgress. So you had to play within boundaries. And what I was doing was I was trying to create things so that the audience would have a good time. Sorry, Rich, it's glitching even if I wind it back. Stay there, caller. I will check the Bluetooth. I don't think the Bluetooth is on, but stand by, caller. Stay there. Don't move. Right, I'm back. Bluetooth is off. So whatever it is, there's nobody else using the Wi-Fi at home. The Wi-Fi is stable. We've got a good connection. So whatever it is, it's YouTube. It's got nothing to do with me. Hopefully it'll settle down. So in 1989, I was trying to come up with things that would entertain the audience. They would know what the word was and what it would replace. Like, Foxtrot Oscar. You know exactly what that replaces. But I'm trying to be creative. Now, I know it's YouTube, so I know there'll be others that don't have a decent idea in their head. They'll take it and think they can use it. Well, I mean, I've used Ginger Growler since Labour, before they got into power. I was using Sir Keir Starmer, Scaring You Yet, Ginger Growler, using all that. Then I've seen people using various iterations of Ginger Growler. So back in 1989, I came up with, because there was an advert on the TV, and it was a couple of old boys in a rowing boat, and they were eating ice cream, and the ice cream fell and went into the river or whatever. And one of the old boys, right at the end of the advert, went, "Rolex." And I thought, ooh, hang on, what did he just say? So I did my research, and I went away and found that the word Rolex is actually the metal holder on a rowing boat that the oar goes through. But it sounds so like bollocks that I could say Rolex and people would go, "Aye, swearing, hello, is that TFM? Yeah, I've heard your presenter, late night presenter, he's swearing his head off, he's saying bollocks." And we got those phone calls. He's saying bollocks. So Brian came to me and went, "You saying bollocks?" I said, "I'm not bollocks. I'm saying Rolex." And I explained to him what it was. So somebody who was a regular listener to my radio shows contacted me and said, "You do know that Dougie's copying you, don't you?" I said, "No, what now?" He said, he's using the word Rolex. I said, "Hang on, I came up with that in 89. So I started using that. Nobody else used it because it was just from an advert that you can't find anywhere now. I don't even know what the advert was for. But it was just a couple of old boys, and they said Rolex. And then I went away and did my research and found it's the metal holder that the oar goes through in a rowing boat. So you can say Rolex as much as you want, and it's nonsensical, because all it means is that metal hole that the ore goes through. I mean, we could make it muggy, but oh, wonderful, Paul. Brian Lister gave us a guest lecture about commercial radio when I was at Sunderland Uni. You might laugh, but radio can be studied at master's level. I only know because I got one. Brilliant, Paul. Brilliant. Well done. I mean, radio, the art of radio is not many people get it or can do it. There's just a few select talented individuals. I'm not suggesting I am, but I gave it a bloody good go. And I wish I'd known about that master's degree. I would have come and give you my own take. Anyway, so this is 1989. I'm lifting the veil so you can understand what I did. I also came up with something called Mogadon. Now, you will hear him use that. And I came up with that on my late night phone-in on TFM. And why did I use Mogadon? Mogadon was medication for people who, I think they couldn't sleep or something. But it just sounded so, Mogadon. It just sounded so derogatory that I could call people a Mogadon. And it was a derogatory term. But actually, it's nonsensically name calling, because it's just the name of a pill that people take to try and help them with their sleep. But it was all that. So it was, Rolex. If somebody had come on and was having an argument with me, which is wonderful, I would just go, oh, Rolex, how do we end shite, man? Oh, no, I can't use that phrase. But I would use them in the heat of battle, and which is, the jousting arena of late night phone-ins. So I would use these things. I would also, for the left wing and the, some people would call them, the lily-livered. I came up with a phrase, namby-pamby pinko liberal. This is 1989, before anybody had done any of this. And I will say that my phone-in at that time is the most successful phone-in in the history of TFM. I mean, it's gone now. The radio station's gone. It's been subsumed into some commercial amorphous mass. I don't think it exists now. It's Greatest Hits Radio or something. But in the time of TFM, and as Paul Mabley might know, there are ways and means. So a commercial radio station lives on the amount of people that are listening and the length of time that they're listening. So your phone in late at night gives you huge average hours. So people, say 100,000 people, are listening to 3 hours a day. That's quite a lot when you consider that the average commute is only 18 minutes. So going into work and coming out of work, 36 minutes a day is your average. But if you could get somebody listening for 2, 3, 4 hours a day, by the time you've got to the end of the week, they're listening for 30, 40 hours. That is huge numbers. And that's what the phone-in brings you. So I came up with, and sometimes when you're honing your craft, the inspiration comes in the moments of silence. So I'd sit at home and think, what can I do? How can I use something to describe this without getting into trouble from the radio authority? So namby-pamby pinko liberals, it's a nothing. It's just it's kind of labeling somebody in a almost derogatory fashion. But namby-pamby pinko liberal is does what it says on the tin. They're namby-pamby pinko liberals. They've not got any spine. They're not there, I'm not going to go and fight in the war. No. Or they're Guardianistas, or they're the left wing who've got nothing to them. They're namby-pamby pinko liberals. But back in 89, I could use that because we had the Gang of Four. Can you remember the Lib Dems? The Gang of Four? It was all very much liberal in the 80s, but they were shite as a party, in my view. But the one that, and I spoke to someone the other day who said, Adrian, I've done some research into your scum-sucking pond life phrase, and I can't find it. I said, I know you can't, because I came up with it in 1989. So it was a phrase that I used, that it was like, if we're talking about the Labour Party, the scum-sucking pond life, or the politicians, scum-sucking pond life, or ne'er-do-wells, scum-sucking pond life, because you can spit it, and it's one of those phrases that sounds nastier than it actually is. But in the heat of battle on radio, if you were listening to this rather than watching my ugly fizzog, you would understand that I was saying scum-sucking pond life in an almost angry way to describe people or a group of people. Scum-sucking pond life, that's who they are. Namby-pamby pinko liberals. And I came up with a lot of other stuff that helped me not get fined by the radio authority and thereby the radio station. Because if you got a fine from the radio authority, and some people have up to hundreds of thousands of pounds, was it Chris Evans that got fined 90 grand? It was a big thing. The radio station getting fined for, 100 grand. That's all of a sudden, it might be at the point in the radio station's iteration, that might be their profit margin for a month or two or three, depending on the radio station. So I have spent 36 years studying my craft, studying other people that did late night phone-ins that were the kings of the airwaves. I studied them. I didn't study the words that they said. I studied the technique and the tools. So, for example, I came up with a technique simply because at Century 106, we had a box of tricks where you could put two callers on air. And it had never been done on radio in this country, ever. So what I did was, on my lunchtime phone-in, I would get one caller on and not tell them that they were going to be on air with another caller. So I would get my phone-in guy through the glass. I would just say to them, get the other guy on, or female. I would get the first caller into an apoplectic rage. And then I would say, stop. Don't think we're getting anywhere. So, David, you're live on Century 106. And this other guy would come on who was diametrically opposed to what this guy was arguing about. And they would be at it. I mean, literally having pelters with each other live on the radio. And they were arguing. And every time what I would do is I would just kind of nip in and go, yeah, but what about that? Woof, 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 woof. And just get them fighting on air. That was the whole shtick of the lunchtime phone-in. I'd get people fighting on air. I'd put them on against each other. And they loved it. They absolutely loved it. People were hoping they could call in the phone-in and get into an argument with another member of the public. Never heard anywhere. On British radio, sometimes you might hear it on the Jeremy Vine lunchtime phone-in on radio too. But they're the only people that I know that used that technique that I came up with simply because we had a box of tricks that could get two callers on air. And we facilitated massive, huge rows on the radio. But it's amazing listening. It's wonderful listening. And the other thing was, I came up with, I don't know whether you can remember the original Hannibal Lecter film, and it was directed by, the guy behind Miami Vice, Manhunter. So the film Manhunter had, the original Hannibal Lecter was Scottish guy. So basically, I was watching this film. Jonathan Demme, I think, was the director of the film, Manhunter. And if you've seen it, you may know the scene. If you haven't seen it, you want to watch it. It's even better than the other Anthony Hopkins, Hannibal Lecters. So I was sitting there watching it. And Jonathan Demme described a technique that he used to, as you're getting closer and closer to Hannibal Lecter. Now, Hannibal Lecter is behind some bars. And Jonathan Demme is, the FBI agent is talking to Hannibal Lecter. And every time the FBI agent asks Hannibal Lecter a question, the camera moves in a touch and then moves in a touch. And over a process of questions, the camera ends up through the bars disappear behind the camera, and the FBI agent is asking questions directly to Hannibal Lecter. And I watched this technique in the film and I thought, do you know, that would be, yeah, Brian Cox, thank you, John Carpenter. I think it was it Demme or Michael Mann? Maybe. Maybe I'm getting things mixed up. But this filming technique that I saw, I thought, for my lunchtime phone-in on Century 106 in the East Midlands, because it was across Leicestershire, Nottinghamshire and Derbyshire, and had a huge audience, I thought, how can I replicate that so that when I'm talking to people on the radio, I can actually get to the essence of what they want to talk about. So it was a one-breath question technique. And I would ask people, I would ask people questions and questions and questions, so that eventually I actually got to the essence of the reason why they were calling the lunchtime phone in. And it was a radio technique born out of Manhunter, the filming technique, which Jonathan Mann kind of just used this question and answer scene with Hannibal Lecter and the FBI agent. So that's how I came across that. And other people have not gotten to that technique because they don't know what I'm doing, unless you're called John Gaunt. And John Gaunt sent me an email while I was doing the lunchtime phone-in, sent me an email saying he was studying at a local college and just wanted to know about certain techniques and certain things that I did, and wanted to know more about stuff that I did on the radio. And I literally gave him a blow-by-blow, because I love anybody that's interested in radio, and I will always give them a hand up if they're genuine. So, I'll talk to techniques that I've came up with. Some I won't tell you about tonight. But I've come up with a lot of techniques, which is why my lunchtime and late night phone-ins were number one in every single market that I broadcast in. Every single market. So when I see other people that are not fit enough to wipe my shoes using my lines on YouTube, initially it was making me apoplectic with rage. And I was looking at all the different options. And then I thought, do you know, life's going to deal with them. So I know stuff that I'm not bringing here to YouTube. I never will. But let me tell you, life has a really weird way of dealing with people. You don't have to do anything. Life deals with them, because life itself knows who they are and what they do. Oh, and me, the dark forces, my hairy backside, I know who he is, and I know what's in him, and I now know him to be evil. He can take the piss out of my eyeballs as much as he wants. He can't escape himself. That's what life's about. You're here to find out who you are. And I know he's evil. I know he is. Because he knows that I know. He knows that I can see right through him. He knows that he's nicked all of my stuff from my lunchtime phone-in, considering he was through the glass, and he must have been doing this for years without my knowledge. He must have been doing it when he did Mansfield FM. He tried to do a lunchtime phone-in on there. I'd been gone by this time. But Tony Delahunty, who ran and owned Mansfield FM, sacked him. He's been sacked from every single radio job he's ever had. Otherwise, he'd still be doing it. And he did Capital AM. He must have been doing it on there without my knowledge. And everywhere he's gone, he must have been just wanting. And it's really freaky and scary. It's, that film Single White Female, where the female befriends somebody and she wants that somebody's life. She wants her boyfriend, she wants her lifestyle, she wants her job, she wants her flat. And the single white female takes over every aspect of her life to get what she has. And I'm telling you now, in my view and my life experience, single white female, he wants to be me. And I have no idea why. But as I say, I've honed my craft for 36 years. If you want to talk about musical presentation, I honed that since 1979. We're talking 46, 47 years. I've worked tirelessly. I've given up in my teenage years, when I was a motor mechanic by trade. In my teenage years, I'd give up going out on the lash with the lads on a weekend to study radio, to listen to the big voices and personalities on radio so I could learn about them. And Paul Mabley will say, evidently will tell you, that if you're studying at a master's level, it's a passion within you. It courses through your veins. You can never stop doing radio. In fact, I'm using a load of techniques that I learned from radio, that I identified from radio and used on a daily basis. A lot of times when I'm doing YouTube, they're transferable skills. But let me tell you something. In my view, I don't have to do anything, because life has a way. It has a way. Life has a way. And he can crow as much as he wants, and he can, because, very clever people who analyze people for a living can see through him. And I've had conversations with them. I don't want anybody in life, because ultimately we're all just walking each other home. I don't want anybody to suffer in life, because life's stony and hard. This is not easy. But neither's YouTube, for that matter. But if you're then thieving other people's jokes and acts and think you can do it with impunity, oi, 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 that karmic retribution that you're building up, I don't even want to be around when that karma retribution hits him, because he's building it up. And karmic retribution, he's talking about, oh, I've got my notes from the trial. Well, so's the judge. And the judge published his and a very specific take on young Dougie. So the reason why I wanted to tell you about my background in radio and about my time as a lunchtime and late night phone-in host, that's not easy to be successful at. And I bust my nuts to study it, hone my craft for some scum-sucking pond life, see what I did there, to kind of use my lines. Halloween shite, man. So it's a real gut punch when somebody's using stuff that you've spent weeks, maybe months. Some of the lines that I came up with took me weeks and months of focus to try and come up with something, and they came out of nowhere. I don't know whether they were given to me by universe, God, spirit, whatever, but the inspiration would come with, yeah, might use that. I'll try that. So I'd go on the radio the next day and go, yes, scum sucking pond life, how do we? And then all of a sudden it becomes a thing. It has its own life. So life will deal with people that think they are more powerful, that think they know what they're doing, because all life is going to do is just going to hold up a mirror to you and go, that's who you are. And if you don't understand the mirror that's being held up to you, and you keep lying and lying and lying, and look, I can call him a liar as much as I want, because according to the police, 2 events is a course of conduct. So twice in the High Court, when he's been sued for defamation, he's admitted to lying. He's called himself a liar. That's not anybody else. He has called himself a liar. So there's a course of conduct. A course of conduct is damning legally. So he can never get away from that. No matter how many times he calls himself anything other than a convicted stalker, he's a convicted stalker. Because that's what... And he was tried by jury. He wasn't tried by a judge. The magistrates pinged it up to Crown Court because they couldn't deal with it. It was too big for magistrates to deal with. So that's why they got him into Crown Court. And he's a self-confessed liar times 2. I don't need to prove that. As I say, I will tell you the truth, because do you know something? The truth is more powerful than any lie. You've just got to tell the truth. You don't even need a good memory with the truth, because you just tell it again. So like the Battenberg story with the BBC presenter, I can tell that 1,000,000 times because it's true. And sometimes I might get some of the minutiae different, but in telling the story, it's an ex-BBC presenter that was organising scat parties at the Metro Centre Hotel, whichever one that, because there's a few there, organising this scat party with the #1 European Queen of Scat and eating the Battenberg. Doesn't matter how I get to the payoff is always the same. It's the Battenberg, Your Honour. So that's why I tell you the truth, because I can tell you the story about Mogadon and Rollocks and scum-sucking pond life and namby-pamby pinko liberal till I'm blue in the face, because it's always the truth. But other people, I'll guarantee you this, if anybody asks Dougie how he came up with those lines on his phone in, give him a call. I'm not sure he needs them, but ask him. And see what bullshit he says. Because I don't have to do anything, it's the truth. And there you go, it's the truth. So let me get you to Mappa level 3. I wanted to give you that context in the background about what I did, how I did it, some of the lines that I came up with, some of the lines that I used back in the day. And that's the reason why I gave you that context. Because somebody quite excitedly emailed me earlier and said, are you aware that in Dougie's latest video, he says he's Mappa level 3? And I replied back, right, okay, don't mean anything to me. I know what multi-agency public protection means. That's Mappa, multi-agency public protection. But what does level 3 mean? And I thought, yeah, I'm not going to get into a conversation because the person that's emailing might not actually know. So I went and did my research. Are you ready? I'm going to read this verbatim from the government's website. So this is not me making it up. This is not me paraphrasing. This is from the government and their website. So Mappa Level 3, it's also known as Multi-Agency Public Protection Panel. So MAPPP, I'll just use Mappa for short, Multi-Agency Public Protection Panel. It's the highest level of management within the multi-agency public protection arrangements, Mappa. It is reserved for offenders who pose, and I quote, the highest risk of serious harm to the public or whose cases require senior level multi-agency cooperation and oversight due to complexity or media interest. So here's a more detailed explanation. So high risk or complexity. Level 3 cases involve offenders assessed as posing as high or very high risk of serious harm, or those whose management is particularly complex and requires significant interagency coordination and resources. I'm going to read this again. This is high risk. So seemingly, Dougie has said, I'm 0.17% of harming the public. Well, not according to Mappa Level 3, you're not. You're high risk of reoffending. And Dougie has told everyone that he's Mappa Level 3. Go and have a look at his video. I'm sure my emailer hasn't made it up. Level 3 cases involve offenders assessed as posing, and I quote, a high or very high risk of serious harm, or those whose management is particularly complex and requires significant interagency coordination and resources. High risk. Multi-agency. High risk public protection. Senior level involvement. This level necessitates the involvement of senior managers from various agencies, such as the police, probation services, and other relevant bodies to ensure effective risk management and public protection. I'll read that again to you. This is senior level involvement. So within all of these multi-level public protection agencies, they have to have senior level involvement. This is not somebody who's just been spat out of the prison service and they've gone, yeah, no problem, yeah. Don't come back. So senior level involvement. This level necessitates the involvement of senior managers from various agencies, such as the police, probation services, and other relevant bodies, to ensure effective risk management and public protection. So MAPPP, the management of level 3 cases, is often referred to as MAPPP. If you want me to go back to that, that is Multi-Agency Public Protection Panel. From what I understand, he's not telling anybody about this. The management of level 3 cases is often referred to as a MAPPP, highlighting the panel approach involving senior professionals from different agencies. This is not just some scrote that's been spat out of the prison service and they've gone, right, off you go, don't come back, you're on license for 3 years, don't breach your terms, we don't want you back. This is somebody that they consider to be high risk of reoffending. Now, there's also the public interest media scrutiny. Cases that attract significant public attention, and this could be one of those cases. All media scrutiny may also be managed at level 3 to maintain public confidence in the criminal justice system. So he may also be level 3 because they want the public to see and want the public to have confidence in the criminal justice system. There is also, to round off, defensible risk management. So the overarching goal of Mappa, the multi-agency public protection, let me just scroll up so I can get it right, arrangements. So multi-agency public protection arrangements. So the overarching goal of Mappa including level 3, it's the highest level, you can't go any higher, is to develop and implement a defensible risk management plan that addresses the specific risks posed by the offender and protects the public. I'll read that again. The defensible risk management. This is what they put in place when somebody, level 3 Mappa, leaves prison. The overarching goal of Mappa, including level 3, is to develop and implement a defensible risk management plan that addresses the specific risks posed by the offender and protects the public. Now, you can do your research and you may come up with exactly the same words in exactly the same order, because this is government issue. This is what the agencies and the panels work to, and they have senior people on this panel from the agencies, because level 3 is high risk of reoffence. Hang on. So there you have it. When you have somebody saying something that might be true, the best lies are those that contain a kernel of truth. So he might not be, according to one agency or a person within an agency, 0.17% risk. But he's level 3 Mappa, and he's not giving you the details about that. He's not giving you the details about the senior management, the defensible risk management, the public interest and media scrutiny. You're not being given the details of the panel, the senior level of involvement, and the high risk and complexity of someone being level 3 Mappa. That's your explanation. I have not altered any of that, and I will keep that in case anybody questions it, because I'll just refer you to the government's website that I took it from. So we'll put that full stop there. We won't take that any further, because we've got the Royals to talk about. We've got the United Kingdom's first 15-minute city by stealth. Yeah. Mayor Carnage, bringing it to its knees. We'll talk about civil servants, because they're all on the grift. Jeffrey Epstein, I told you he was coming back in December. Told you he was coming back. Told you you'd meet him again in 2025. I mean, well, I'm calling it Jeffrey Epstein, the rematch. There's something going on tomorrow I'm going to tell you about. ID cards, the solution to a problem you never knew you had. Wait till you find out what Labour's going to do to you. Just bend over. Bend over. Keir Starmer sticking his cock up your arse. I've told you what he's doing. Bend over. Do as you're told. We're going to shaft you. And there's the cuddly little Labour Party stabbing each other in the back, stabbing each other in the front. They're after the power. They all want to be Prime Minister. They want the pension. So the Prime Minister's wage is their pension for the rest of their lives. They're all grifted, man. The backstabbing epidemic in the Labour Party. Oi, 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 oi. Get Jeremy Corbyn back in. He had 600,000 subs in the Labour Party. And there's 2 tier-free gear queerers out Starmer, as in queer as folk, with a bag of Charlie and, you know, enjoying a drink of Coca-Cola. But when he says bend over, you're not going to like this much. Correct. He's probably not even going to use any lube. But the Labour Party, man, it's 2025. So Durham Big Meat was shit. No Labour bigwigs. I mean, that's a travesty. But Labour Big Meat in Durham on a really beautiful weekend, it was fantastic. I've seen the photographs. Obviously, I wasn't there. I was out with the new Mrs. Allen. But there's Ginger Growler. She's been suspended by the Unite Union. So the unions are now saying to the Labour Party, here, lads, fucked up, Oscar, you're gone. We're going to pull our support from you. And, well, we're going to look at some of the other political parties. We know where they're going to go. They're going to go to Corbyn and his Sultana and his new party, whatever it's going to be called, Corbyn and the Sultana. I don't know. Couldn't make anything up. But Ginger Growler being suspended by the Unite Union. Remember all the rubbish in Birmingham? That was the Unite Union. And Ginger Growler, Ovidi's pet. So the backstabbing has started in the Labour Party in the run-up, in the lead-up to the Labour conference in September. They're doing it now because they've only got 2 weeks left. And then they come back in September after having 5 months holiday, doing absolutely bugger all, and probably using somebody else's house for holiday. Tony Blair did. But remember, he used Kitty's home in the Bahamas. Tony Blair. Kitty. Here, kitty, 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 kitty. Kitty's house in the Bahamas. How does that work then? You got something to tell me? Have you done your own research? Got to be careful, mind you. There's Anthony Charles Linton Blair, Bow Street Magistrates. Google it. He's got this massive country pile, and seemingly he's got a swimming pool that you can retract. It's like from a Bond film. He's got this swimming pool that you can retract and put out again and just go for a swim. It's like a Bond movie set. This is how much that man has made on the international stage from all of his really nice friends. Remember, that's what he wants to do digital ID for, because that's where the money is, baby. So two more weeks before the summer break. And I don't know about you. Do you know 2-tier Kia? Free gear Kia. Football season starts in August. Oh, you'll be going to Arsenal for free. Well, I've got to have security when I go and watch Arsenal because, well, I'm not very much liked. Correct. And he puts stuff out on social media. And all I can hear is blah, 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 blah. Starmer the Harmer, blah, 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 blah. And then he'll say stuff and I go, oh, blah, 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 blah. It's just an irrelevant noise. He knows he's finished. He knows he's done. He's got some of his front benchers trying to stab him in the back and get gone. Now, I'll make a prediction for you. Starmer's going to be gone. September at the latest. I'm making the prediction now. Psychic Adrian, and I'm about as septic as a bloody tank. I'm not psychic at all, but I just have this feeling. Maybe it's incontinence. I don't know. It's this warm, fuzzy feeling that he's gone. Foxtrot Oscar Kia, mate, gone. September. Do you know why? Because there's going to be another scandal coming out. I mean, you know, Fun Boy 3, 4 tops. The Train. Lord Ali. Wasn't me. Couldn't see my lips move. Much. So there's another scandal brewing. It'll be shit. Maybe he needs a bit of Battenberg. So there's another scandal coming because his front benchers want him gone. His own party hates him. Want him gone. Bye. Off you go, Kia. There you go. Join your mates in Europe in the fucking Hague. Yeah, you can represent people. You're a barrister, aren't you? Yeah, you keep telling us your dad was a fucking toolmaker. We see evidence of that every single day. Correct, as Ashton. That's very funny. So, I make this prediction that there will be a scandal, probably around September, if not before. That scandal is going to take a pace. And though I do believe, and I've always said this, that Yvette Cooper was a good bet, 11-1, was a good bet to be technically the next Prime Minister of this country. But she's just a safe pair of hands. They will keep her. They'll just get rid of him. Going, sorry, Kia, mate. No, the public's against you. Your brand is toxic, mate. So off you go. And we don't want to see hide a hair of you ever again because you've shafted the electorate. You've shafted the country. And I told you before he was elected. So Keir Starmer, is he scaring you yet? And lo and behold, it didn't need any psychic ability. Oh, he was shafting everybody left, right, and centre. Put me off me porridge. Do we hang on. Adrian Paul, what have you been smoking? Hang on, let me just what did I be? The Freemasons? What the bloody hell? Hang on. That's it. John Healy, better odds. Might be, Sam. Might be, but they need a really safe pair of hands. And Yvette Cooper, the Home Secretary, she'll just step in. She might be announced at the Labour Party conference. Is it normally Blackpool? Paul and you would know that how? Oh, you just made it up, eh? Right, okay. I'm just, for a moment, hang on, who said that? Alan, Cooper woman, face like a bag of spanners. I know, like a welder's bench. Alan says, great, can't wait for Growler to be in charge. Come on, get your boxing gloves on. Oh, come on, the Tories, I'll give you a kick in. I'm from Manchester, and I'm from the north, and I've got Unite. Oh, no, I haven't got Unite. I've got the unions behind me. I'm Ginger Growler, and I'll fight anybody. Oh, shut the fuck up, woman. Thank you, Sam. Amalia. Brigitte is an anomaly from Planet of the Apes. Amalia, I'm about to post a picture of Brigitte when she was younger, 18. Looks like a bloke to me. Going to post that on X tomorrow. Just do me research. Who am I looking for? It's interesting that both Adrian Allen and Retro on his bikes are allegedly connected to Freemasonry. What? What the fucking hell, Adrian Paul? What are you talking about? You've been smoking recreational gear or something? Let me tell you something. It's dog whistle shit. So I'll have a look at what Adrian Paul's been posting, because evidently a lot of people have responded to his posts. Hang on a second. Wisdom T. Kirk says, does anyone want a second-hand quarter red book? Does it need some Battenberg? And, I mean, the new Dan Brown book's coming out. And I'm not holding out much hope for it, simply because I read the last one and it was just dog awful. So, hang on, Adrian Paul. I might have to try and find this later, because I was on a roll and I want to get onto other subjects, because we've got lots to get through. Brilliant. Brilliant. Honestly, you're not holding back tonight in the chat, that's for sure. But, you know, there's just... no, I can't find it. I'm just going to get to the end of the comments. I don't want to spend any more money on people that I don't want to spend any more money on. You really need to read this chat back when you were finished. I will do, Lauren. It looks very entertaining from what I can see. Andrew James, I don't doubt it. Charlie Veach has exposed how bad Manchester is. I've seen some of Charlie's videos, and all these little scroats wandering around. I'm dead hard, mate. And then his minder just kind of slapped this kid and got him to move back. And you see, the kids are only they're only hard when they think they've got a knife in their hands. As where a hard man is someone that can protect himself with his bare hands. I mean, in ninjutsu, I know there's a joke here, but I meant it to be serious. No, I can't tell you that. No, I can't, because it would get me into trouble. So, a martial artist that studies his art and his craft, or whatever, however you want to term it, they will be able to, somebody with a knife. I mean, I'm not necessarily sure I would go fighting with somebody with a knife, because it's highly dangerous. But there's an old street adage: you run towards a gun, you run from a knife. That's a truism on the street. You ask anybody that's a street fighter. And I saw this video of Charlie Veach and I laughed. I laughed uproariously, because these kids are only hard when they've got a weapon in their hands. But a true hard man doesn't need that. Will just slap you and slap you in the middle of the next week. Because can you imagine an MMA fighter and somebody goes, "Oh, I want to..." We've all seen these men that go into a gym and go, "Who's your hardest martial arts?" And they get an absolute shoeing. And there was a Paddy Pimblett video recently, because obviously I'm interested in the martial arts and MMA and fighting, and because I love a good rumble myself, obviously within rules and obviously within the dojo on the mat. And I'm an old boy. So Rubber says, talking of knives, I see the Met Police fellow Rowley made an interesting statement recently. So Rebel, I've got the newspapers, but we just didn't have time to get to it. So I will try and tackle that either tomorrow, Tuesday or Wednesday. So 4 lives in a row this week. Tonight, tomorrow, Monday, 7:30, Tuesday, 7:30, and then Wednesday at 8. So Charlie Veach's minder just gave him a slap, and the kid went down like a sack of shit, and you just think, I thought you were a fighter. Come on then, get up and fight. And he didn't. He just, bad man slapped me. Well, you started it. He was only defending himself. Defending yourself proportionately and appropriately. Brilliant, Terry Wookford. I have several cups and medals. Is that furry cups and medals, Terry? In cunnilingus and the bondage. Yeah, definitely furry cups. 4 lives. Bloody marvellous, says Cell Rebel. 4 in a row. I'll have to go to beer shop. Yeah, I see you. So tonight we'll do a couple of hours, and then tomorrow, Tuesday and Wednesday, and I will try and flood the zone with as much as I have. So let's get into some of the stuff I want to talk to you about tonight. I'm not sure you're aware of this because I think it may appear again tomorrow. And this is an exclusive in the mail today. The TfL official reading documents on the tube. So I don't know whether you've used the tube, but I used to live in London, and even when it's not busy, you can stand on where the plastic perspex is, and some idiot TfL official, Transport for London official, is sitting there reading this stuff, and the person that's standing next to them is taking pictures of it. So seemingly, and I've told you this before, London, if not the first, it's going to be pretty high on the list for being a 15-minute city. Why? Because, Mayor Carnage is just a Fabian Society and a Wefite. And he's just doing the bidding of the Fabian Society and the Chinese Communist Party and WEF in Davos. I have got some footage that I've not released yet on the channel about my trips to Davos, which I'll show you what Davos is like. Whilst it's anyway, we'll save that for the future. But what I want to say to you is that this is a 15-minute city by stealth. Carnage, Mayor Carnage, he's a sir now, Sir Mayor Carnage. He's creating a 15-minute city because that's what his paymasters are telling him. He's got 10 million in the bank. How the fucking hell did he get that then? 10 million in the bank. What's he been doing? Flogging footy scarves at Wembley or something. So this is a war on the motorist in London. So this TfL official was looking at documents on the tube, like, having a quick read. Probably going to a meeting, who knows, briefing himself, no. But the person next to him, phone out, click, 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 click. So they're looking at increasing car control zones so they can make more money. Remember, you're a cash cow. Shut up, do as you're told, you're a cash cow. And they're going to take it out of your arse and then put it back in again, and then take it out of your arse and then put it back in again. And they're also hiking the costs of parking permits. We don't know whether that's for locals, because some streets have only locals can park within certain times. That's obviously what this document was talking about. And they're also going to increase the use of double yellow lines. So you can't park anywhere. And if you're a local, you can park, but it's going to cost you more for parking permits. And then they're going to have more car control zones, making more money. Do you know why that is? Because they want you within 15 minutes of everything that you need, and you're going to have to do all the walking or use public transport. So they're slashing car parking spaces. So those people with the car, the luxury of a car, you're just going to go, oh, here, Foxtrot Oscar, I've had enough. I'm not living in London. It's full of Muslims. I'm gone. I can't even use me car. So the documents were setting out the plans for the next 20 to 25 years by 2050. That's what they're after, 2050 target. So although we've got stuff that's happening by 2027, by the way, AI is saying that net zero is utter rollicks. See what I did there? So AI is saying, oh, net zero, no, it's finished, it's done. Well, AI or AGI or ASI, which is artificial superintelligence, they're saying that AGI, artificial, whatever it is, that AGI is coming in, and within hours, artificial superintelligence is going to come in, and by all accounts, we'll be able to work out what the planet needs to make sure that the planet is inhabitable and we don't need net zero. So you're looking at the next year. But they're doing it quick. Because why? Because they send it abroad. This is all the money for net zero. All the contracts, all the money goes abroad to NGOs. And then it comes back and lands in the arse pocket. Plenty of arsing about tonight. Arse pocket for the politicians. That's how they make money. So shut up. Do as you're told. Touch your toes. I'm going to stick this where the sun don't shine. And you're going to enjoy it without any lube. So the Labour Party are now saying, oh my word, look at what we've come up with. We've come up with this brilliant idea. Honestly, We're going to give you a solution to a problem you never knew you had. Well, we don't have the problem. The politicians do, because we know what they're doing. They're making money. Money, 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 money. The politicians are making it. Why? Because they're bringing the brown faces in. So, the Labour Party, Yvette Cooper. See what I did there? If she's going to be the next Prime Minister, because Sir Keir Starmer, I mean, he's so toxic. Remember, I've told you, what have they got on Starmer that makes him do as he is told, no matter how much he thinks or realises that he's up the creek without a paddle, or the Fun Boy 3, or the Four Tops. So, he knows. He's just being told by Davos, oi, Keir, mate, do that. Oh, really? Yeah, just do as you're told. Otherwise, you know, obviously I'm not going to go down that route. But we pay huge amounts for energy because of the insanity of a man who looks like he escaped from a petri dish. Yeah, Ed Millipede. Bad Wolf Project. Melbourne, Ottawa, Barcelona, Shanghai, Bogota, emphasis on the wrong syllable, Portland, Milan, and Paris are all tagged as 15-minute cities. All of them, all the capitals are going to become 15-minute cities, but just London, because that's where all the old money is. It's in the square mile. Look, London is run by the Templars. The square mile, it's got a shield, a white shield with a red cross on. Oh, I wonder where you've seen one of those before. So now the Labour Party are bringing it in, and they're saying to you, look, we've got a plan. We've got this really clever plan. Well, it's called digital ID cards. Yeah, but it's not for you. No. Digital ID cards for migrants. So did you read any of the newspapers over the last few days where the migrants are coming in and all of a sudden they are Deliveroo riders, deliverers, takeaway deliverers? And all of a sudden, the newspapers are all on this one story that they're going to stop the migrants from becoming Deliveroo or takeaway riders, deliverers to your house. I told you, where are we, 2025? Last year, a year ago, I told you Tony Blair was talking about independent digital IDs. Remember that? I told you that a year ago. And all of a sudden, the Labour Party are going, oh, don't worry. Those pesky, bloody delivery drivers, riders, whatever. Do you know we've got a solution? Right. Well, you know those takeaway delivery riders? Yeah. We're going to crack down on the illegal workers. And what we're going to do is we're going to issue them with digital ID cards. All of them. But for migrants only. Not for you. It's mission creep. And I don't mean creep as in, you know, nefarious activities that two-tier Keir gets to, Starmer the Harmer. No, I'm not talking about that kind of creep. I'm talking about mission creep, where it's, I've told you before, if you want to boil a frog, you don't put a frog in a pan of boiling water. You put a frog in a pan of cold water and turn the bloody heat up. So that's me and you. We're the frogs, ribbit. And we're being put into a pot of cold water. They're turning the heat up, so it's an excuse. They're giving them to the migrants. The migrants can't refuse. This digital ID. Does this mean I get free NHS? Yes. Of course you get free NHS. You get free phones the minute you bloody land on the beach in Kent. So you get free phones, free NHS, free dental, and it's private, the dental work. So, you know, it would cost you a fortune back in Afghanistan where you're shagging your 6-year-old wives. No. Even the Taliban are disgusted at the scroats that are coming across from Afghanistan. So one guy who's already married, and obviously a glutton for punishment, he married a 6-year-old girl. Another family sold the 6-year-old girl to him, and he married her. And even the Taliban were disgusted by it. They turned round and said, no, wait till at least she's 9. What kind of world am I living in? In law in this country, a child under 12 cannot have any consent or sexual thought whatsoever. Anybody under 16, it's statutory rape. And the Afghanistan are like, yo, you meet me new bride. Yeah, don't speak very good English, but whoa, she's a wow in the kitchen. So the digital ID card for the migrants, it's going to be a digital document. So It will prove the right to live and work, and it will be uploaded to the holder's phone. That'll be the free phone that they get when they land on the beach in Kent. Oh, come in, come in. We need somebody. We need more Deliveroo riders. We need more takeaway riders. We need Just Eat riders. You speak English? Don't worry, we'll give you the phone, and it's got Google Translate on it. So you can take a picture. It'll translate into whatever language that you speak. Afghanistani. How would you know what I'm saying if you can't speak English? Phone. And we'll pay you to stay here, of course, because we want votes. So, I keep saying so. These digital ID cards for the migrants is the solution to a problem you didn't realise you had. We know that we've got illegal immigrants, and that's really easy. Take them to the White Cliffs of Dover and say, see that? You've just come over in a dinghy. There you go, mate. Swim for it. Best of luck. Your free phone's waterproof. So the government insiders believes it will help trace and then deport my hairy backside illegal immigrants. I mean, we've heard all this before. Do you know that they're trying to stop the illegal immigrants working in a 260 billion black economy? £260 black economy. Because we're paying for the fecker. I mean, so there you go. There's the answer to all your ills. The Labour Party think, well, Yvette Cooper must think, that by giving digital ID cards to the illegals, then next stop it's us. And then you know who's going to run it for them? Bloody Tony Blair. I mean, Rich Boy Sunak said to the Chinese, oi, you can Foxtrot Oscar. You're not getting anywhere near our digital IDs. I mean, that's one of the only things. Oh, yeah, as King Trouble 703 says, no, it's 17 in, 1 out. It's just all bollocks. Rollocks, sorry. So, Dale Steele, Adrian, they are doctors and nurses, not delivery drivers. Of course they're not. They obviously need 2 jobs because the NHS doesn't pay very much. So there'll be a nurse during the day and then a Deliveroo driver of an evening, or a rider. Or and this is the thing, because I've seen someone talking about this. So all of these illegals, the rapists, who know that a woman has just ordered a takeaway, is possibly on her own because it's for one person, they knock on her door, and this is already been thus. They do things that will end up with them having to spend time in jail because of what they've done. We do not want any kind of illegal delivering stuff that would put females in peril. Any females in peril. Sacred and safe places, and women should be able to order their takeaways if they so wish, and not have a threat of an illegal going, you nice lady, you nice lady. No, absolutely unacceptable. Terry Wookford says it's already happened several times in Glasgow over the last 3 months. I'm telling you, the Scots, they don't stand for bullshit like that. They don't. Especially the Ouija's. The Ouija's are mad. I mean, the ice cream wars in Glasgow, can you not remember those? Ice cream wars. Because they were going around the estates flogging recreational gear. And it ended up with, like, huge knife crime. They were stabbing each other. So the Ouija's, Ouija's for short, they're not going to stand for this. They're not. Like the Irish. The Irish are proper fighting men. As are all the Celts, the Welsh, the Scots, and the Irish. The Irish are now, for the illegals going into their country, and, you know, there's been all kinds of silliness going on in Ireland. The Republic, not Northern Ireland, the Republic, Dublin. And the Irish have had enough. So the Irish lads are just going up to them. Now remember, there was war going on in Ireland, and the Irish didn't muck about. Oh, you want to be war? Right, okay. Guerrilla warfare it is then, lads. So the paramilitaries are still there. They're just now NGOs, OCGs. So the paramilitaries are now looking after the real naughty stuff in the Republic of Ireland. And anybody takes liberties. They're just going to go around, knock on the door, And literally, well, I'm not going to say, but I am aware of stuff that's going on where the Irish fighting boys are just turning up going, "Oi, you, where you from?" Bang! Middle of next week. Also, the ice cream van was the place to get VCRs and TVs and dodgy tapes. I know, Andrew, but it was mainly the recreational gear because it was making a shit ton of money for them. The Irish people have a backbone. They do, and they've had enough. But the politicians, the namby-pamby pingo liberals, the politicians are sort of, my boss at WEF is telling me that I need to do this and I need to do that. You need to look after. First rule of government is you look after your own people. And if your own people are just a bit unhappy with you, then you need to do something about it. Because they will take to the streets in Ireland. They will start kicking off big time. And the Irish government have no clue. Well, they're namby-pamby, pinko, liberal, bloody politicians, man. You know, shit harder stuff. I want to talk about the state of society. Amanda Sky says, I've been watching the dinghies coming over for 5.5 years, watching the hotels get tracked down, watching the security change from indigenous people to not any war. Rusty's Roaming says they've just tried to set a fire to a hotel in Ballymena. They won't bugger about. Adrian Paul. Adrian Allen is to ninjutsu what Charles Hawtrey is to bare fist boxing. I'll get to more of the comments, because sometimes when an arsehole is an arsehole. But I will say this to you, Adrian. Why don't me and you get into a boxing ring? MMA rules. I'm an old boy. I'm technically not at my fighting peak, shall we say. But people like you, get your head guard on, get your gloves on, and let's see how good your MMA skills are. I'm allowed to choke you out if I want. I'm allowed to knock you unconscious if I want. MMA rules. That's what they stand for. So let's get to some of the other stuff that's going on at the moment. I want to talk about today's society, 2025. I was always told by my mum, who I love dearly, she always said to me, there's a lot of good-looking nouts. Technical term they use in Sunderland. A lot of good-looking nouts. And I said, all right, Mum, what are you saying? She says that you'll find love when you least expect it. And those that are the shiniest button on the blazer don't necessarily have the greatest luster. So Charlize Theron, she's been on some podcast and gone, oh, yes, darling, at my age, I've had a one-night stand with a 26-year-old. Oh, it was bloody marvellous. And I thought, well, hang on a second. Is she promoting a film? Or is she promoting a perfume? J'adore. I don't know. But is she trying to be edgy and relevant? Because I've got one word for... Well, I've got a few words for her. Some of them are not very gentlemanly or gallant. But I will say this. A, oh, you had a one-night stand with a 26-year-old and it was bloody marvellous. So why no night two? So either the bloke thought you were an absolute nut job, bunny boiler, and he's not coming anywhere near you again, or the sex was so shit, he's not coming back for night two, but she looks good on telly and in video and on film, but she's, oh, yes, I had a one-night stand. And why no night two? So I will tell you, as a man of the world that's danced a bit, it's either... the sex was crap, and you can tell by looking at her, in my eyes, in my view. And also, why no night two? It was either shit, or he's thinking, she's going to boil my bloody rabbits. I mean, just to ask a simple question. If it was that incredible, she says it was incredible. If it was that incredible, why didn't she do it again the next week? Look, we all make mistakes. We've all, says... we've all made mistakes, says the tortoise, climbing off the... I can't remember the gag now. Oh, bollocks. But we've all made mistakes and kind of just like acknowledge, well, I'm not... especially when your beer goggles are off and you wake up the next morning and go, did I? No, I'm not into one-night stands at all. I prefer to be in a relationship and that relationship evolve into something rather special and magnificent. I've had some fantastic long-term relationships in my life, and to those ladies, you know, I'm ever thankful that you put up with my shite and bullshit, and saw somebody that you loved, because I learned a lot about myself and you and others. So this Charlize Theron thing that's ongoing, she's not even got a partner. So you have to ask yourself a question. Why would anybody that makes up, they have a wife or they have a missus? Hang on, Terry Wookford says, behave, she bangs like a barn door in a hurricane. Is that the back door? Soul Rebel, now that's a top opening line for a song. Andrew, hang on, what she said. Dalek off a dustbin, that's the one, Terry. Bad Wolf Project, the troll is very brave behind a keyboard. The hardest part of him is his wheelchair. Correct. And that's not even his real name. Paul Durkee, the Yanks have got Theron, we've got Vorderman. Oh, don't go anywhere near the fire with Vorderman. Bloody hell, she'll melt. In my view, she admits to having work done. I mean, do we not? Am I like a bloody alien that's just been dropped in the middle of madness? Because it's not about, oh, I say, she's got 5 boyfriends on the go. Oi, 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 oi. Well, no, I won't be ungallant or ungentlemanly, but I wouldn't touch it with yours, let alone my own. Bright woman, but if you're banging 5 men at the same time, know that. In your 60s, Jesus H. I'd rather chill out and do a live than, Anyway, be like pulling a cheese toaster apart. Terry Wookford says, last one in. Terry, oh, so naughty. Trump supposedly talking about stripping Rosie O'Donnell of her citizenship. I do hope Trump doesn't strip her of anything. Oh, have you seen the size of her? I'm not fat shaming anybody, just not my cup of tea. Or cup of coffee. Andrew James, I wonder if Theron just laid there like a sack of spuds. Yeah, you're probably not far from the mark. Because, look, this is a life truism. If you kind of connect and you get together and you do the, you dance in the like fandango and it's enjoyable, why would you not go back again? Is she just like, I've got a notch on my bedpost. Last one was 1995. But anyway, a notch on my bedpost, 26-year-old. I mean, gilfs. No! She's 49-year-old. Jesus. Soul Rebel, to think they used to slag off Elsie Tanner. Wasn't Ina Sharples Vorder's age? Ina Sharples was younger than Carol Vorderman. Oh, Ina Sharples. Those hairnets, they did something for me. Got me through puberty. Stop that. Wisdom T. Kirk, up and down like a bride's night here on her honeymoon. Of course, Les Griffiths. You never see Rosie O'Donnell and Michael Moore together in the same room. And Andrew James, do you mind? I'm having me dins. Oh dear. Violet Carson. Violet Carson could play the piano. She loved tickling the ivories. She had such wrist strength. All the boys were in awe of her. Hang on, what's that? Let me just... English bottle cap. Will Piers Morgan pay the 100 grand bet he lost with Candace Owens? Of course he won't. Bugger off. Matt Damon is already up here. Theron is here in a couple of weeks filming The Odyssey. Oh, just knock on her trailer door. Hello, Charlize. You know those one-night stands with a 26-year-old? I'm Laird Wookfit of Scotland, and I'm 27. Fancy another go? I've just had very inappropriate gags run through my head. The head. Nora Batty had my motor going. Oh, did she? Was it the surgical stockings, Alan? Bad Wolf Project. 300 grand for what? I had beer goggles, paying for it now. Laugh my arse off. Love her really. Good on you, Ian. And Terry Wookfit, knock on her door. Be banging both their doors. Good man, Terry. Do it for the lads. Just so you can come back and go and tell us the story. Because there are those. I mean, the women as well. The women and their modern body count. Jesus. It's been announced today that seemingly we're going to be at war with Russia within 5 years. Oh, I burst my incontinence pants laughing my cap off because it's bullshit. Seemingly some former head of the armed forces, that's why he's a former, not a current. Oh, we're going to be at war with Russia within 5 years. Are we shite? Bollocks. Sorry, Rollocks. It's not. It's just fear porn. They just stick it in the press, believing we're going to believe everything that they're saying, and we won't. Town Block Tracy, cheese toasty with added mayo. I'll just leave that there. I'm not going to reference it. Soul Rebel, Howard and Hilda were a racy pair. Who I say. Matthew Whedon, Mrs. Slocum and her, you know what? Oh, I know. Mrs. Slocum, how very dare you. Well, it was her pussy. I mean, she showed everybody. She brought it out and gave it a stroke. Are you being served, sir? I'd rather watch Mrs. Slocum stroke her pussy. And there's, the humour of this sceptred dial. Well, why can't we get away with that? It's funny. The Coronation Street episode where Ina and Violet got hammered is a classic. It's on YouTube. Is it really? Did they get absolutely shitted? Did they have to take a sniff at just to kind of make it authentic? Or were they such good actresses that they just used zero alcohol Tanqueray? Don will come to Britain's rescue. Uncle Don. What do you think, Alan? I mean, he's not had a good couple of weeks, but I'm still telling. Oh, sorry. Yes, I want to tell you about tomorrow. Where is it? Well, there's more Beckham watch because the Beckham family are in the papers again today. Yeah, they are. Because it's just, why don't you just leave it alone? I mean, for sake, Beckham watch every single day. It's the same old shite story. Oh, the family are at war with each other. No, they're not. Brooklyn's married Nicola. Brooklyn's gone to America. Brooklyn's now a married man. Brooklyn's looked at his mother and father and went, I'm not bloody doing that. I'm not having any of their bullshit shite. I'm married to a billionaire's daughter. So those peasants in England, in the Cotswolds, no, you're not going to be part of that family. My father-in-law's a bloody multi-billionaire. So, Beckham watch, David Beckham, in the papers every day. Hello, my name's Sir David, and, I could teach you how to lick an arse. Yeah, we know, David. So, Jeffrey Epstein, what's going on? Is he back? Is he back? So, Jeffrey Epstein, I told you, it was all going to kick off. Seemingly, there's some lawyer in America going, oh, what, you think Prince Andrew's gotten away with it? Don't you worry, our legal system will have that chap in our courts quicker than you can say, fucking coup stock. So, it's all kicking off tomorrow. Ghislaine Maxwell, she's back in court. Ghislaine Maxwell, just give it a shake, Ghislaine, becomes Maxwell House, versus the US court system. Tomorrow, she wants a retrial. I've got me black book. It's not the Epstein list, of course. It's me little black book. It's got some tasty names in there. Should I make it public? Aye, you're wrongin'. Well, technically, so there was no victims. There was no clients. There's no client list. There was never anything. So she wants a retrial tomorrow. She's applying for a retrial because she's been sent to prison for nout. Rusty's Roaming says, Andrew was always going to get away with it. He can sweat as much as he likes now. Yeah, here, Ghislaine, mate. Soul Rebel, didn't she die in the Rovers, Lauren? Or Ghislaine Maxwell? Why don't the girls who were victims name the people on the list? Because they'll end up the same way as Virginia Giuffre or Virginia Roberts, whichever name you want to use. She was Epstein. I mean, she said, like a week or two before, if I die, I'm not suicidal. Everybody knew what was going to happen. So she's in court tomorrow. It's kind of her do or die day. Pun intended. Do or die. It's an unfortunate turn of phrase, considering what happened to young Jeffrey. Bungle! So by the time we get into tomorrow afternoon, we'll all find out whether it's do or die, dear. Whether a deal has been done. I've been in prison. Don't know how long she's been in. 4 or 5 years? A few years? Well, okay, there's no client list, so release the hounds. Allow Ghislaine Maxwell to run free into a forest and live in a house that she thought nobody would find. I mean, you can't make this shit up, can you? There's Prince Andrew. Jolly, jolly, jolly. No, not that one. Charles the Weak. Not the bag of Colombian that was on the train table in front of... I'm the Keir Starmer. I'm really, really happy. I don't know why. It must be the strong coffee. Was it Colombian coffee, Sir Keir? Rich says, why is Trump being so defensive? I'd love the behaviour panel to take a look at that footage. Yeah, and the body language guy. I don't know whether he has or not. Lauren Taylor, do you mean Martha Longhurst? Paralysed by Lynn Carroll, friends of Minnie Caldwell. Bloody hell, Terry. Did I tell you the story once? Now, you know, I don't pretend to be a martyr. I am the Reverend Adrian Allen in the body of the Kirk, Sundays and Wednesdays, and now Tuesdays and Mondays. But I was invited to, I think it was an orchestral manoeuvres in the dark. I have to be careful how I say this because this is going to stay up here as a historical document. But I once went to a launch party for an Orchestral Manoeuvres in the Dark album. And you can, on the lot at Granada, you can go into the Rovers Returns. And they put, there was just loads of beer, loads of free beer. I was being driven across there, so it was I was a young guy. And then I thought, oh, shit, hang on. You know the door where the toilets are? That's not the toilets. It's just, well, it's not even a door in the set at Granada. So I thought, what do I do? I need to get somewhere because I need to pee. And I was like, lads, where's the toilet? Dunno, it's not down there where it is on the telly. And I was like, oh, just cover me back. I'm going outside. Do you know Mike Baldwin's garage? Yeah? Cover me back so security don't get me. Anyway, so I went out and, well, I had to, you know, men... we were given the gift of being able to pee standing up. Women get multiple orgasms. And it was the blokes that said, I'll have peeing standing up first. And then the women's went, what, we getting God? So I went outside and it was, you know, standing up and it was up and down Mike Baldwin's garage door. And I nearly got caught by security. Don't think there was any videos or anything in those days. Or if it was, the CCTV didn't work. And if anybody asks, I'm just making this up. I say. So, Ghislaine Maxwell, watch it tomorrow afternoon. Going into court, do or die day, pun intended, and let's see what happens. We're kind of getting to the end of the live now. I think I've been going for about 2 hours. Yes, I have. Thank you. So I just want to run through some quick stuff. I've maintained that I will not have a meter, a new one, of any way, shape or form, because I know what's going to happen. The utility companies will bend me over and go, Mr. Allen, we've put a new water meter in your home and you owe us trillions of pounds while we're spunking all of your money on the shareholders and us getting bonuses and profits and that not being reinvested back into the system or into the infrastructure. No. We're Thames Water. We spunk Thames Water and all of the money, and then the government comes back in and just gives us more money so that you have to pay for our ill-gotten gains, you bunch of thieving bastards. So, seemingly, if you've got a water meter, if you're mug enough to take a meter from a water company, you need slapping with a wet fish. See what I did there? Water, fish. So they're saying that if you have a water meter or you've recently had a water meter installed, then whether you like it or not, during the summer when it's dry, if there's any surge in demand from the system, like it's warm, you might want to put a paddling pool up in the back garden or something. If there's a surge in demand, they're going to surge the pricing. So they're just going to charge you whatever you need because your water meter is going to shaft you. So you're going to have to pay more during hot weather than you would do during the winter. So you're going to be shafted, not by the government. This is the utilities. This is the future. Shareholders get their cut. People working for the water companies get their bonuses. The water companies don't look after or repair the system, but we pay through the nose because we're just cash cows. That's all they're at. We are just cash cows. They don't give a flying about what we think or need. It's just bollocks. So let's kind of round off with the royals. So I believe that the royal family only have 3 or 4 stories, and they regurgitate those because they've worked out that we've sussed Charles the Weak. We've gone from having the greatest monarch, not only in living memory, but in history, to a bloody thing. So we've got, thank you, Rich. He's enjoyed the chat tonight. Knocking me pipe out. Brilliant, Rich. Thank you. And to Stuart. Thank you very much, Stuart, for your, as ever, support. So the royals, Charles the Weak. So it's the secret Prince Harold Peace Summit. Now, let me tell you, why would they allow a fox back into the chicken coop? So we've got representatives for Charles the Weak and Harry the Spare. They held a secret peace summit of senior aides. He's not... Some PR agency from America comes across and sits down with royal aides. Charles the Weak, he's killing off the monarchy, in my view. Look, I wish him a long life and good health, but William needs to sit in that chair, because if he's a king and he's been trained by Elizabeth II and he's an ineffectual king, the monarchy's done. It's finished. It's over. And all I can say to the monarchy, Foxtrot Oscar, why are you entertaining this secret Prince Harold Peace Summit? So Harry the Spare, that literally his wife called you racists, and William, King Billy, came out and went, oh, no, we're not racist. So why didn't you say to Harry the Spare, oi, Harold, you tart, get your fucking wife into line, have a word with her, because that's how men should be. They should speak man to man, and it shouldn't be, having to speak to the women. It should be, here, Harold, sort your wife out. And stop thinking with your dick. That's Richard, the PR advisor. So didn't Harry the Spare tell the royal family that they had to apologise first? And there's, what's-her-face, Yacht Girl, sitting there going, yeah. They have to apologise first. And then we had South Park, and then we had all the comedy, and then they just look like fools. But I will tell you this. There's rumours of a divorce ahead of Christmas, by Christmas. This is maybe that they are brokering a separation. It's not a peace deal. Harry the Spare is never coming back to the royal family in this country. The royal family know that once William ascends to the throne, he's out of the line of succession. He's not even supporting the royal family. Les Griffith says, Harry has a legitimate grievance. His brother got an extra sausage for his tea. Exactly. And extra luggage. And extra lunches with the Queen. Second. And remember, I've told you this. I mean, loads of people were like, hey, you're talking out your arse, Adrian. Harry Braid, it's a technical term that we use in the Northeast. Harry Braid William with a golf club. And then they said, no, they were just playing. And then it went to, no, they're just playing, to, no, it was a friend that did it, not anybody else. And he was emergencyed to a local hospital. Harry has this jealousy inside of him. He wants him and the yacht girl to be, who can't have kids, by the way. You do know that, don't you? Trevor Engelson decided that they needed a split because everybody's like, oh, yeah, the yacht girl, she told Trevor to go and foxtrot Oscar and just posted his ring back through the post. Really? She was fingering his ring and then put it in the post. That's some effort. Terry Wookfit says, still light up here, land of the midnight sun at the moment. Brilliant. But So they said to Oprah, royal family are racist. They've got to apologise. And now they're having a peace summit. Look, it's not a peace summit, in my view. It's the same story that's trotted out time and time again. They've only got 3 stories. Oh, the king's got cancer. Yeah, we know. Prostate cancer, seemingly. And, well, it's incurable. And then, well, Catherine. Oh, that bloody yacht girl. Yeah, Catherine. That's the only story in town. Look at Wimbledon. Oh, I say. And it's Harry the Spare. I mean, he hasn't got a spare brain, surely. And he's like, oh, we're the showbiz arm of the royal family. No, you're not. You're an idiot, mate. Have a word with your wife, bring her into line, but you won't, because she's the dom and you're the sub. Is she a dominatrix, Harry? Because she comes across as one. Let's round off tonight. So 3 stories regurgitated, different angles of the same story. That's all the royal family do, whilst they're kowtowing to the World Economic Forum and Davos. Live Aid. Let's round tonight off with Live Aid. It's 40 years ago today. I will tell you that Jeff Lynne, because I know the ELO weren't at Live Aid, but Jeff Lynne pulled out of a gig. Looks like they can't reschedule the gig. So Jeff Lynne, the leader of the Electric Light Orchestra, is not very well at all. He's cancelled gigs due to ill health, and there's no chance of rescheduling. So not sure what's going on with him. But ELO made some fantastic songs. So I'm going to ask you a question. Live Aid, did you buy into it? Now, I was watching it. I mean, the whole world watched it, seemingly. They made £40 million on the from the whole thing. So let me just tell you this. I know how it works. Live Aid, multimillionaires increasing their record sales so record companies could make even more profit. Midgear's come out today, not out, obviously. Midgear's come out today and says everyone is too busy on their phones for us to do another Live Aid. Midge, mate, Mary Mungo and Midge, I'll tell you this, for shit sure. The music's shite today. You'd have to dig people up out of their graves to be able to do half-decent music for a Live Aid. Can you imagine? Taylor Swift! Oh, Taylor, we love you! Ed Sheeran! Oh, wonderful! So what we're going to do for the next fucking 14 hours? Just play shit music by shit bands? Correct. I mean, look at Glastonbury this year. How bad is the music? And Live Aid, they did these kind of... George Harrison did a similar Live Aid thing, but for the farmers in the 70s. And it's just multimillionaires increasing their record sales and record companies making a shit ton of profit. They don't care. The record industry is corrupt and evil. That's why gangsters get involved, because there's a shit ton of money to be made from the gangsters. For Live Aid to happen today, everybody would be too busy on their iPhone, says Midge. Midge, mate, man. We don't even have vinyl. Do they know it's Christmas? So we'll continue the Live Aid tomorrow night. Next live, 7:30, Monday night. Tom Harney's Black Sabbath just raised $140 million at their concert, so Midge is talking Rolex. Yeah, evidently. But, I mean... how would we... I mean, I know Ozzy was a bit pissed off with the band when they just wandered off stage and he was left in the chair going, fucking hell, man, come back on stage. Quote, unquote. Marley Grassi says, don't envy you. I think we meant to be around low to mid-20s. Can't wait. Nice. Rubbish. Look at the Oasis concert. Sold out. So what would we do, Rich? They were all given 15, 20-minute sets. So would we have the Oasis headlining for Live Aid? But do you really want to hear that ear screeching Taylor Swifty? Do you want to hear that ear screeching of Ed Sheeran and his ginger pubes, Fanta pubes? Nicola Mooney says, Jesus, I was 13-year-old at Live Aid. ELO, great. Much love. Yeah, and Jeff Lynne worked with George Harrison. But let's continue this tomorrow night. Next live, 7:30 Monday night. Be there if you can. I'll do all the research and work for you tomorrow. I'll keep an eye on the, Ghislaine Maxwell and see what she's up to. And then we'll talk Live Aid 40 years later. Was it just about the record industry making a shit ton of money, or was it genuinely for Africa? Latest wrong'un, says Ian. Wrong. Live Aid needs to raise funds for the UK. Agreed. But I thought that's what the BBC did, English bottle cap. And we don't know where that money goes either. Shite music today. Agreed, Matthew. Theo Bovril. Great again, Adrian. Oh, you're very kind, Theo Bovril. Late as. Night, folks. Thanks again, Adrian. You're most welcome, Rusty's Roamings. And thank you to everybody that's been in the chat, having a good time tonight. And thank you for continued support of this particular live. My name's Adrian Allen. Thank you for your likes, your subscriptions, but most of all, your indulgence. Whatever you do, wherever you go, be well, stay safe. Don't forget the Battenberg, and remember, these lives, it's not a show, it's a mission. And we go again, Monday, 7:30. See ya.